should be a very, very exciting matchup as we meet Latvia first, the second Latvian team. Martins Plavins, Olympic bronze medalist from London 2012. And his newest partner, Harold Regza, the 23-year-old, 6'6". A little bit unorthodox, but very physical and very, very effective. Playing in their first Final Four, this Latvian team, they'll be looking to upset the odds. Nick Lucena first out for the American team. The defender has been in very, very good form this season. 6 times runner-up on the World Tour, looking for his first gold medal. Phil Dalhausser, on the other hand, is playing, well, he's played in over 30 Final Fours on the World Tour, but he is looking to win his first gold medal of 2015. Twice runners-up in this very new partnership. Dalhausser and Lucena, but they are looking to win their first gold as a team. Plavins has won twice on the FIVB World Tour with 2 different partners, Samoilovs and Smedins, who are playing together in the second semi-final, as Dalhausser is the target to start things off, and Dalhausser makes his first kill. The crowd only just starting to arrive this morning. It's a very early start local time, 8:30 here. But with almost 4 million people living in XIAMEN, we're expecting a very busy day here. Regza makes his first kill of the game, just opening up on the line. The youngest player on court, Harold Regza, will be serving next. Lucena and Dalhausser in the picture. Regza, his first season on the FIVB World Tour. He's done very well at junior level. Another point for the USA. Regza playing with Abdin Zarmans, winning the CEV junior titles and FIVB world titles as well, making his step up to senior level with that man on the right side. Martins Plavins, the more experienced of the 2 Latvian players on court. Phil Dalhausser serving downwind. We're going to see typical Phil Dalhausser. Goofy toss jump serve, and that one only going halfway up the net. It's going to be tough in this wind to find consistency in the jump serve. Wind really whipping across the court this morning. Ball control is going to have to be a must for both teams in these tough conditions. Float serves from Plavins. Lucena on the right side just smuggles one almost through Harold's Regza. This Latvian team, previous best of a 9th on the World Tour as a pairing, so this has been a good week's work for them. Lucena and Dalhausser off the back of a second in Sochi and a second in Long Beach. 3-3, remember, the teams will change ends every 7 points just to make fair of the conditions, especially on a day like today where there is that wind that we've already spoken about. Lucena is the target. Dalhausser goes on 2 and just chips one around the big intimidating block of Harold Regza. That is our first end change of this men's semi-final. Dalhausser does well, keeps the ball in front of him. Knows if he shoots to that area of court, there's a high percentage that they will take the point. Plavins has a good look and then just shoots one high line, but just over-rotates from the middle of the body, I think, and misses the sideline by a whisker. Not a man of many errors, Martins Plavins. Will be the more consistent of the 2 Latvian players, I'm sure. Dalhausser starting to find some rhythm from the so-called good end into the breeze. And there is an ace from Dalhausser, doing what Phil Dalhausser does best to the delight of the fans. Dalhausser's finding some joy in this jump serve early on in this semi-final. Very characteristic of Phil Dalhausser. Strong jump serve, serving 6-6, middle to middle. Takes that deep breath to relax himself as he chews on another jump serve. This time Regza's the target. Regza It's his turn to make an error. It's a different start from the start they made yesterday against Cantor Loziak. This Latvian team, so had to call a timeout. Plavins and Regza really taking command early on against Cantor and Loziak, the number 3 seeds from Poland. But too many errors have meant that they have gone down 7-3 in the opening stages of this first set. Not much communication coming from the Latvian bench. No surprises to see Lucena leading the team talk in the timeout for the American pairing. He very vocal, very passionate player, Lucena. Dalhausser takes the ball back to start proceedings off after the first timeout. This men's semi-final matchup from XIAMEN. How many times do we see that post-timeout service mistake? Just a lack of focus. Dalhausser, a legend of the game. Shows that it was a good timeout taken from Plavins and Regza. Plavins sees that very well and gets the defensive play, but Dalhausser makes the block. That's what Dalhausser does so well, even if he does only manage to continue the rally in the side-out phase of the game. You always fancy Phil Dalhausser to go and make a block. 4-point game again. It's been the Americans that have started this one much brighter. Regza this time chips off the block, takes a deflection off the right hand of Dalhausser and out of play. He does love that line, Harold Regza. Still a long way to go in this first set. That's a very uncharacteristic serve. Good defense from Plavins again. That's 2 from 2, but there was a touch off the block, so the ball has to go over on that touch from Regza. Dalhausser comes in and fires one steep down the line. 9-5. Fast start from Dalhausser and Lucena. That will give them confidence looking for their first gold medal of 2015. Dalhausser winning a World Tour event in the previous 9 years, 9 seasons on the FIVB World Tour. That's a record in itself. And Dalhausser downwind, manages to control the toss and the jump serve. More hitting errors this time from Regza. Head down from the big blocker. It's a frustrating start for him. He's struggling to find rhythm and consistency. Hands on the hips. This time Dalhausser only fires into the middle of the net. Martins Plavins has played in 2 Olympic Games, looking to qualify for his 3rd in a row with this new partner, Regza. Lucena fires down the seam, sides out yet again. Lucena and Dalhausser, currently number 32 in the Olympic race, a team that only came together in August. 2nd on the World Tour at Long Beach. Quick ball to the pin, but Dalhausser knows exactly what's coming. Lines up well on his opponent and forces the ball straight back over from where it came from. Dalhausser, 3 kill blocks already in this set. Lucena and Dalhausser are really running away with this one. They love that quick wide ball, the Latvians. We've seen it quite a lot this week already. Regza, this time 2. Ball from Plavins is too strong, too quick for the very fast Lucena. Lucena and Dalhausser, as we were saying, 32 in the Olympic race, but playing all of these open events to try and muster up more Olympic qualification points. But they're behind Jake Gibb and Casey Patterson. And also Hayden and Bourne from the USA are in front of them. They have got a wild card into the FIVB World Tour Finals next week from Fort Lauderdale. Dalhausser going high risk for high reward. Fortunately misses out, so the first technical timeout. 13-8 to Dalhausser and Lucena. Will be the thin beast, Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena, who will be the happier of the two teams after the opening phase of this game. There are a couple of missed serves from Dalhausser. He has made blocks and he has made aces as well. Lucena has been consistent inside out. Speaking to Sam Pedlow from Canada, who Dalhausser and Lucena beat yesterday afternoon in the quarterfinal, he just said Lucena's passing was too strong. He was too consistent throughout the side-out phase of the game. It started again. Look at that from Lucena putting the ball in the perfect area for Dalhausser to set. And if you watch a lot of Nick Lucena, he does love getting his feet inside the ball and shooting high line. That's a great fast high line from Nick Lucena, the 36-year-old, who now resides in Santa Barbara, California, but originally from Florida. Not much vision from Plavins, but just chops the ball on the cut shot. Slight bit of frustration from Lucena, but he won't mind too much because they still lead by 5 here. You was the call from Lucena. Scruffy stuff from the USA. Reverse play for Plavins. That's 2 cut shots in a row, but Lucena sees him this time. Now Lucena gets a chance, but Regza playing defense makes the scoop. Chance for Regza now on offense. Off the head of Dalhausser and out of play. Big rally. The biggest rally of the game so far. Both teams fighting hard for that one, but Latvia will gain confidence from 2 very good bits of defense from both players. Regza on the way down, hitting that one off the head of Dalhausser and out of play. Followed by a net band ace from Harold Regza. They've started to pick the pace up here, Latvia. That's just a 3-point match. Regza's moods definitely has lifted as well. Through the middle, Lucena, it's tight to the net. It's a wonderful shot from Nick Lucena. The set was very tight from Dalhausser. Down by many, Phil Dalhausser is the best setter of a beach volleyball in the world. So much so he's been voted 5 times best setter on the FIVB World Tour. He's won copious amounts of awards, Dalhausser. Regza this time from the middle. Again uses Dalhausser's block to his advantage. Not much of a look from Regza, just hits hard down the line. And thankfully for Latvia, it goes off of Dalhausser and it's a point for the team in green. Tough in the wind to take a look because the ball is doing a lot in the air. Phenomenal defense from Regza, who now gets a chance, more net band play, so Dalhausser from the left side. It was tight, you could just see on the picture Lucena pushing that ball so tight onto the net and then the ball drifting back off as you see Samoilos and Smedins in your picture, the other Latvian team who are next on this court against German pairing of Fliegen and Bockerman. It's important in these conditions to change where you're facing within the set. Usually on a still day, The setter wants to be facing their target, but it's fairly impossible when there's such a big wind to do that. So you'll see players changing where they're facing and letting the wind drift the ball. There's your court, as you can see, Dalhausser is set off the net from Lucena. It's his turn to hit off of the block of Regza. 4 points will do it for the USA in this race to 21. Remember, teams have to win by 2 clear points. Latvia will be happy they've managed to put some good plays together. They need a couple more to grow in confidence, possibly for the second set now. It might be too far back for them. Lucena does amazingly well. Change up as Lucena goes into block at 6'1". Plavins, oh, he's a shrewd customer, sees exactly where the space is and just rolls the ball into the gap. Knows every inch of a beach volleyball court, Martins Plavins. It's just a quick play. Roll reversal from Lucena and Dalhausser, changing up block and defense. There's a timeout called from Lucena and Dalhausser, telling their opponents to sit down. Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena lead. Harold Regza and Martins Plavins, number 9 seeds from Latvia, 17 to 14. The most interesting part of this game now is going to be how this end can finish, because the Latvian pairing are at the strong end. The wind is blowing into their face, which makes it a lot easier to control the ball. Lucena and Dalhausser need to keep their nerve at the weekend, stay in control. Well done to Regza, who chases down that cut shot that had taken a touch off the block. Second chance for Lucena. Splits the gap between block and defense. Plavins not very impressive, his partner then tracks the ball a little bit off, breaks the block. Harold Regza still moving possibly when he contacts that ball. You need to be balanced when you break the block. Regza is the target. Regza does need to side out here from the left, and that's an exquisite shot, high line from the 23-year-old. He's quick, Lucena, but he's not that fast to get after that one. Possibly the biggest part of the game right now. It's a missed serve from Regza. The difference between changing at 18-16, sorry, not changing, but 18-16 and 19-15 is huge. The change will come after this point. Dalhausser serving with the wind behind him. Bullets from the baseline from Dalhausser. Regza does well to pass it, but Dalhausser makes the block and brings up set point for the USA. That is Dalhausser at his very best, serving bullets from the baseline and then chasing in to line up his prey and then go and get the kill block off the left-hander. Dalhausser forces that ball straight down and brings up the first set point for the USA. And what has been easy picking so far this morning from China. Dalhausser serving for the first set of this semi-final. Plavins does so well to chase that one down. Second chance. Lucena is shot down from Regza. Is that the first kill block we've seen from the young Latvian blocker this morning? I think it might be. 4 points. I mean, it's a long way back for Latvia, but they need to gain as much momentum as they can for the second set. More net band action, but Lucena reads it well. Chance for Lucena to close out the set. Read again from Plavins. He does very well to pick that one up and then plays high angle to finish the point off. Much better from Latvia. Plavins is starting to read the game exceptionally well in defense, chasing down offense after offense from Dalhausser and Lucena, with Regza starting to get blocks as well. Latvia are growing into this one. But that missed serve from Latvia means that the USA take the first set of the first men's semi-final. 21-17, Lucena and Dalhausser. Well, they've had pretty much everything their own way so far. Dancing girls make their way back onto court as the players leave. Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena have only dropped one set all week, and that was against Yannick Salvetti and Jean-Baptiste de Geur from France. They end up winning the tie-breaking set 15-9. This team have only lost one game all week, and that was to Grant O'Gorman and Sam Pedlow from Canada. They put in a very impressive week, finishing 5th, losing to Dalhausser and Lucena late last night. Errors will be key here for Latvia. They made quite a few spiking errors, backed up with a few serving errors as well. The USA have just been too strong so far this morning, but there's a long way to go in this game yet, as Dalhausser looks to start this second set. Regza the target yet again. This time Regza tries to go as hard as he possibly can down the centre of the court, but he just misses out. Fires long. Harold Regza can't quite believe it himself, I think, as Plavins tells his buddy it was only out by a couple of inches. Latvia need to get off to a good start here. Otherwise Dalhausser will take this into his own hands. Goofy toss. Serve out the back, possibly getting caught a little bit underneath that one. Phil Dalhausser. Plavins, the best defensive player on the FIVB World Tour 2012. Senna somehow manages to bring that ball back to the line. Todd Rogers-esque. It's very typical of Nick Lucena to try and speed play up. He gets back to the service line very, very quick, and he picks out Regza, now hitting from the middle. Lucena does well to make the dig, and now he has a chance in transition. Data from Regza. Swat from Dalhausser. Second chance for Regza with the high knuckle, but Lucena makes his second dig of this rally. Second gator from Regza. What a rally this is. Regza with the high line, takes the ball very low though, so Dalhausser makes the read. Dalhausser from the right. More joy for Regza, but this time he can't keep the ball in play. It's Dalhausser that has the last laugh. Lucena at full throttle on the backcourt. Regza breaking the block continuously, making digs, but he can't steer that one in play. One of the best rallies of the game so far. Very tough to keep that high level of ball control in these conditions. This time Dalhausser makes the break. Regza sees it and hits the ball as hard as he possibly can at the retreating blocker. Couldn't quite find an angle underneath the ball there, Dalhausser. This game is starting to fire up in this second set. Big rallies. Dalhausser out of system here, so he's hitting off the net from the middle. And he can only find the net. Phil Dalhausser. That's a good look down the line there, Dalhausser. Can't keep the ball in play. This time he is in system, Dalhausser. You'd expect him to side out here, and he does. That's a huge, huge swing from Dalhausser. Quite possibly wouldn't want to break the block too much if Phil Dalhausser is insisting, but Regza has struggled to make blocks in this game. Such high wins, it is difficult to keep making blocks. You'll see a lot of teams breaking the block, making the assumption that the opposing team won't spike the ball that hard, as you just saw Dalhausser serve into the net. It's been a much more competitive start to this set than the previous one. Change up on the serve from Latvia. They pick out Lucena, who in these conditions controls the ball so well. That's a very cheeky play. Regza, you are allowed to play the ball over when setting, but you have to make sure that your shoulders are facing your target. Regza did that very slyly. Young man doesn't lack confidence, does he? Second ball knuckle from Dalhausser. He's all at sea there, so a quick play to the outside. Plavins. It's not always about putting the ball away in a pretty fashion. Scruffy play from Latvia, but the fast play keeping the USA out of rhythm. Plavins chases down Lucena's high line. You can see Plavins just getting on his partner's back a little bit there with the second touch. Possibly a little bit annoyed with this from Regza, who chases after the ball, knowing that Plavins was struggling to recover from his previous dig. But we're tied at sixes. Plavins from the middle of court. That delicate little touch that serves him so well. As you can see Paul Baxter on his phone on the right-hand side of his screen previously, the coach of Lucena and Dalhausser. Phil Dalhausser snapping, high arm, quick snap of the wrist on the angle. As we are tied here at 7-all. Martins, Plavins and Latvia is just starting to heat up in this one. Consistent Lucena chooses the topspin jump serve again. Frustration for Dalhausser, who reenacts his blocking motion. Regza fires off the inside hand. Dalhausser the target yet again. They're going after the taller player in the high wings, hoping that he struggles with his control of the ball. Not that time though. Dalhausser back behind the baseline again. We're going to see Phil Dalhausser take a big deep breath, slap the ball. There you go, and there's a little spin as well. He holds it always high above his head before his left-handed toss. Good example to any young jump server. Dalhausser with another ace. Example to any young player, Dalhausser, with the way that he goes right the way through the ball in his jump serve. You'll see his body weight. And he finishes right the way in court. Regza again the target. This time the pass is better from the young Latvian. And that's a brutal blow from Harold Regza. No getting underneath that one for Lucena. rare spiking error from Lucena. See, the ball just drops inside him a little bit, meaning that he's just not as vertical as he has been throughout this game. Right-sided players will try their hardest to get that ball on their right shoulder. Lucena the target again. This time he is a lot more vertical. He does hit down the seam of the court. Plavins, who has been digging a lot in this second set. Well, that was too hot to handle for Plavins from Lucena. Difference that time is he did get the ball on his right shoulder. Quick last 2 steps in his approach. 6'1". Lucena, but he does get out the sand well. Good reply that from Martins Plavins. Really out of system, so he has to make the right decision, and that decision was to go high line. So it's Latvia that haven't led at all in this semi-final that take the lead at the technical time at 11-10. Great recovery set from Regza as well. Sorry, he went down the side of Dalhausser's block. Be frustrated with his line there, Phil Dalhausser, as he's a little bit too inside. Plavins and Regza are starting to cause problems for the American pairing of Dalhausser and Lucena. Martins Plavins, #1 for Latvia, winning on the World Tour last year. Alexander Samoilovs. Dalhausser is the service target again. That's a great dig from Plavins, who puts Regza up on 2, but Dalhausser gets a chance. Can only high knuckle, so another chance for Plavins on the left. Dalhausser is high and he is in charge over that net in the block. Again, another big rally in high wins. Lucena from the center. Misses by a mile, Lucena. That's not the Nick Lucena that we've grown to know so well on the World Tour over the past 10 years or so. Played with many a partner, Sean Scott, Matt Furbringer, Ryan Doherty, just to name a few. His first partner on the World Tour was actually Phil Dalhausser. After 10 years apart from each other, they found each other again, and they have found good form. But also a man who is finding good form is Harold Regza. That's a big commanding block. He's high, he's reaching far over the net. And Lucena, after making 2 hitting errors, well, he's been clamped by the young man from Riga, but unfortunately for him, the backup serve is too long. It's a very intriguing part of this second set, with the Latvians leading by 2. They'll be the first to admit that they were below par in the first set, but they've put the Americans under pressure here, and Dalhausser needs to rediscover this jump serving form. There it is, a touch off the platform from Regza, but Dalhausser again. Known as one of the best jump servers in the world. Always can find cheap points from the back line. Good decision from Latvia, calling a timeout, just trying to slow the rhythm and the momentum down from Dalhausser. 12-13. The Latvians do have the strong end, and they will be looking to stamp their authority down a little bit more throughout the mid-stages of this second set. Plavins, who has started to find some consistency in defense inside out, but it's Regza that's a game changer really for me. When Regza can find consistency, this Latvian team are a force to really be reckoned with. Two Latvian teams in the semi-finals. This team with Plavins and Regza. Here we go. And Samoilovs and Smedins, they'll go up next against Germany. You might actually see a replay of the Sochi final, which was between Samoilovs and Smedins and Dalhausser and Lucena. Game going the way of Samoilovs and Smedins, who have won the last 2 open events on the World Tour, the Latvian pairing. Second time we've seen that today. Dalhausser missing the jump serve straight after a timeout, proving that it was a good decision to take that timeout from Plavins and Regza. Out of system, you sent a tomahawk defense from Plavins, who's now flirting with the net. Out jousts Dalhausser. He may be a good 6 inches smaller, Plavins, but just pushes the ball off the block of the thin beast. Though not the most glamorous point of the game, could be one of the most important, because Latvia are leading by 3 here. They're going to want to try and take another point. Lucena now flirting with the net, and Regza with a huge, huge blow for the USA. At the change of ends, Latvia lead by 4. And it's Regza's block that opens up the lead by yet another point. It's not over by a long way yet, as the USA now take the strong end, but Dalhausser passes off the net and is a little bit out of system, takes a good look, but can only find Plavins. Regza on the turn, can't keep the ball in the air. So we are back to 3 with Lucena to serve next from the baseline. Need to try and find a run of points here, the USA. Blocks and defenses will do, and it is Lucena who does make the defense. Now into the breeze from the middle. Lucena makes a big, steep swing on the angle. It's Paul Baxter again making notes, the coach. Coaches will be doing their stats. Looking at the percentages. This time Plavins a touch off the block from Dalhausser. This is to bring it just about to 1. Plavins makes another dig. Lucena charges in to try and make a block, but the 6-1 Lucena, his timing is out in the block. So Latvia bring this game to 3 again. Very important point. Plavins making dig after dig. Lucena from the middle. This time Plavins on another dig. Regza opens up and turns the ball back to the line. We're at 4 again here from XIAMEN. He's really getting in the face of Lucena, Harold Regza, making it very hard for Lucena to find a way past the block. When he does get past the block, Plavins is waiting for him. Quick question here from Plavins, asking Lucena and Dalhausser if they've already taken a timeout. I think it is the first USA timeout. Teams are only allowed 1 per set. It's a pretty quiet bench for the USA. Plavins taking charge of the team talk, the more experienced of the 2 Latvian players. Players come back onto court, and Dalhausser and Lucena, they need to find a little bit of fire here. Lucena usually brings the fire to this partnership. Typical Lucena starts very far back to receive the ball and then steps into it. Lucena does just roll that ball. A 60–70% spike to the sideline is usually good enough for Lucena. The Latvians will just be looking to control their nerve, keep their side-out phase of the game strong. Side-out when your team is receiving the serve. Dalhausser finds an ace. It's an impeccable serve at a very important time from Phil Dalhausser. The teams will be changing ends after this point. If Dalhausser can light up again from the service line and put this Latvian team under pressure, they might change with a chance, with the game difference at just 1 point. Ace from Dalhausser. 2 big serves in a row from Phil Dalhausser. Keeps the USA in touch at the closing stages of this second set. Frustration for Regza and Plavins, but they know Phil Dalhausser well, and when he's in this type of mood, they just have to accept that Dalhausser will serve aces and then move on to the next point. Dalhausser is starting to fire up here. 17-18, the change of ends. He needs to keep focused through his jump serve. And it's a net band ace. You see the shrug of the shoulders from Plavins in frustration. That's a huge slice of luck from Dalhausser. 3 or 4 times throughout this game, we've seen Dalhausser fire in to the net from this, and this time it takes a big touch off the net band before dropping on the floor. 3 aces in a row from Dalhausser. More service pressure means problems for Latvia, but Regza makes a storming play from that left side. Big, heavy-handed Latvian Regza makes a huge point at a huge time for Latvia. No defending that for Lucena. The team's needing to side out. Nick Lucena needs to side out here from the right. Lucena this time takes a touch off the net band and the ball goes wide out of play as the American fans look in agony. Set point for Latvia. It looks like this one is going to a tiebreaker. This Latvian team in their first Final Four are playing very, very well. Lucena to stay in the set this time does take a touch off the right hand before deflecting out of play. We're back to just 1. Lucena and Dalhausser need to make a play here. Dalhausser 5 times best blocker on the world tour. What would they do for a block here? Regza does find the sand at the most important time of the second set, and we are going to a tiebreaker here in XIAMEN. We are tied at 1 set all. The USA taking the first set 21-17 before Plavins and Regza. Well, it was a close one, but they squeezed through to win the second 21-19. Change in the block. Diving angle. Dalhausser. Lucena taking the line very late. Good play from the Americans, but they give up the hard hit.
First server.
Regza hits the ball very hard down the line. Just a discussion here over who's serving first. The teams will get a choice. Whoever wins the toss will choose if they want to serve first or which end that they would like. I imagine that whoever wins the toss will take the right side as you look at it on the screen, just because that's where the wind's blowing into. It's a quiet bench. Lucena trying to motivate himself and Dalhausser. The wind in that second set definitely benefiting the Latvians as we have a race to 15. In every small set, the start is so important. Whoever can get off to the faster start and put the opponents under pressure. Lucena, who has struggled to side out, does roll one down the line and make the first point for the USA. American team. Very new, but 2 silver medals on the World Tour. And also winning the Manhattan Beach Open on the AVP. Yes, they have had some success already. Dalhausser going late in the block and swatting it. Second time, the touch is too good from Plavins, just manoeuvring the ball around in offense. Playing the ball on the cut shot. Sorry, bringing it back to the line. That was full stretch from Dalhausser, trying to use every inch of that 6'9" frame. Dalhausser previously playing with Sean Rosenthal before the pair splitting up after Yokohama. Rosenthal not getting out of the pool stages this week with new partner Theo Brunner. He was actually Nick Lucena's partner for a large part of this season. Overpass means points for Dalhausser. You do not want to give Phil Dalhausser a free net with an overpass. He will destroy you. Plavins giving Regza, his younger partner, a hard time yet again. More netband aces, fist clenching celebrations to Dalhausser. No apologies from the Americans because they know how important. Not only was that end because they're at the weekend with the win behind them, but that serve opens up a 3-point lead. More moans and groans for the Latvians. That won't do them much help. Need to stay together throughout this time. So unorthodox, Regza, but he takes it high. Just drops the ball in front of Nick Lucena. Regza signalling that he's blocking line. He doesn't, he actually jumps in on the angle and Plavins gets the dig, but Dalhausser off the chest of Plavins, but the ball goes out of court. Dalhausser turning, swinging hard on the angle. Miraculous stuff from Plavins, but unfortunate at the same time from the 30-year-old. 5-2, this race to 15 for a place in the gold medal match of the XIAMEN Open. Dalhausser picks out Regza again, who yet again overpasses, but this time Dalhausser collides with the net, and there's no argument from the thin beast. Very sporting of Dalhausser to go and give his opponent a little hand slap underneath the net. Regza, who has played some very good stuff for a young man. Wise play from Dalhausser and Lucena. They know that Regza is going to be serving and then he has to run to the net as quick as he can. So that ball on 2, using the second touch instead of the third to attack, means that Regza is caught out of position. The USA take a point. Serve is long from Lucena, so that's a 3-2 end for Latvia. Hear that breeze going straight into Plavins' face, who serves directly into the breeze to Dalhausser. Dalhausser unleashes, but he's dug. Second chance for Phil. No block. Should put this away, and he does. It's a bit like an older brother, Martins Plavins, constantly on at Regza. That time I think he feels that possibly should have stayed up and tried to block Dalhausser instead of breaking. This team trying to make their first gold medal game as a team, but they're 3 points behind to Dalhausser and Lucena. From the outside, Regza lifts high line. Does love the line. How's Regza? Whether he's hitting hard or shooting high. They're a bit of a surprise package, winning the inaugural European Games in Baku in June this year. Regza jumps in angle, makes the block. Dalhausser's looking for the decision, but the line judge gives it in, and that is a huge blow for the USA because the game is back to 1. Regza is taking charge again after what was a very nice side-out play, shooting the high line. Goes and gets a block to back it up as well. Unfortunately, it all got a little bit too much for Regza. He serves out the back. Can't be too frustrated, Regza. At only 23 years old, he's doing extremely well, but playing for Latvia nowadays does hold big pressure as they climb into being powerhouses of the beach volleyball game. More big plays means the teams just change at 8-7, so after winning the first end 4-1, the USA have lost the last 2 ends 3-2. Lucena, angled approach, they jump in angle, and it's a good decision. Plavins to draw it level. No touch on the block from Dalhausser. Ball hits the top of the net, and you can see how hard it is in the wind to get your feet to the ball on the left side. It's important for a left-sided player to try and get the feet to the ball as quick as they can. Hit the ball on the way up. Dalhausser squeezes one out the back. Plavins and Regza need a big push here to cause what would be a bit of an upset in this semi-final. Dalhausser from the middle. That's a huge blow from Phil Dalhausser. A steep, steep angle from the thin beast. Ball bounces straight out the sand from Dalhausser. Biggest blows of the day so far. All at sea here, the Latvians. Chance for Lucena to make a transition ball and open up a 3-point lead. Big one, this one for Lucena. They do open up the lead to 3. Huge kill from Dalhausser, and this from Lucena. Very high up the court, isn't he? Plavins in defense. Gets caught high and can't keep control of the ball. This is an essential side out for Latvia. But another dig. Phil on the turn. On the left hand. 12-8, and surely the USA are too far in front here for Latvia to make another comeback. Consistent stuff from Lucena. 2 big spikes from Dalhausser mean that the USA are running away with it. The Latvians got it back to just 1, but that end is going to be instrumental and a defining factor in this semi-final. Underneath the block is an overset from Plavins. Dalhausser does not need to be asked twice, and he does the rest, Phil Dalhausser, and they are just 2 points away now, the USA, from making a 3rd World Tour final together. Looking for their first gold medal as a pair, Dalhausser and Lucena, but looks like they will at least have another silver here. Smart but cheeky play from Regza on 2. Blocks and defense plays, or aces needed from Latvia. They need to up the service pressure and try and get the USA out of system. Lucena is a little bit out of system, but he's attacking from the middle. Regza loves breaking the block, but time and time again he's caught out playing defense. That kill from Nick Lucena means 5 match points for the USA. Dalhausser and Lucena serving for the match. Phil Dalhausser can only find the net. Not too many worries for the USA. They will have 4 chances to side out. Regza serving to stay in the game. That's a big ace from Harold Regza, but possibly too little too late. No celebrations from Martin Plavins as the teams change ends. Harold Regza needs to find at least another 3 of those big bombs. from the back line. 14-11, the USA. Another 3 chances. The serve goes long. Lucena and Dalhausser take the game in 3. 15-11 in the final set. Regza and Plavins can be happy with their performance, but inconsistency has cost them dearly. But Lucena and Dalhausser, at crucial times under pressure, really did stand up to be counted. The middle stages of that third set is a good example. Dalhausser crushing one steep down the line, backed up with good defensive plays, and just cool, calm and collective work from Phil Dalhausser means that they go through to the gold medal match. 21-17, 19-21, 15-11. Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena looking for their first gold medal as a pairing on the FIVB World Tour. Squeeze past the Latvians, Plavins and Regza to ensure their place in the gold medal match this afternoon from XIAMEN, China. As we see some replays from what was a very competitive semi-final, very tough conditions here in XIAMEN. Both teams preferring to shoot the ball around a little bit more in the windy conditions. Some exemplary defensive plays from Plavins and Lucena, some big blocks from Regza and Dalhausser. But the experience of Lucena and Dalhausser just proving too strong for their Latvian opponents. They go through this afternoon's final. But for the moment, before we come back for the second semi-final, we're going to leave you for just a moment for XIAMEN, from XIAMEN in China.